time, gents. Let's begin. So bringing your feet in under your hips when you're ready, sitting into your heels and opening up your knees. A little tuck of your bottom and a roll back with your shoulders. So you've got perfect posture to begin. And let's start some nice, easy shoulder circles. So just looking for a little stretch around the front of the shoulders. Drawing the elbows down towards the ribs and getting the feeling that you're squeezing your armpits closed as you circle the arms. Lifting the heels whenever you're ready, pressing through the balls of the feet, trying to keep the knees soft as you lift the heels and keep the knees open from the hips. Arms stop this time in line with your shoulders. Stay with the heel raisers, cross the arms in front and then place the heels down. Lift the heels, place them down. If at any point it feels too much for your calves, you can keep the heels down and just work with the arms. Feel the shoulder blades squeeze together. Keep the hands nice and low, so the shoulders aren't rising up towards the ears, and you can still keep that feeling of drawing the shoulder blades down into the back of the ribs. One more time. And then bring the hands down. When you're ready, we're going to take a little wrap to the right, and then step into centre. As you step into centre, wrap the arms around to the left, but keep your hips square to the front. So you're getting lots of rotation through the spine. If you want more stretch in the left inner thigh, take a step a little wider. Keep pushing down through the edge of your left foot and keep those shoulders nice and relaxed. Next time we step across, stay across. So hips square to the front, both legs straight, and we come into our nice side bends. Lifting your left elbow up towards the ceiling. Right hand reaching down towards the knee, or starting to reach the hand out to the side. Pushing the hip up towards the ceiling as you reach out with your arm. So you get a nice stretch in the inner thigh each time. Now also keeping the chin nodded in. So your neck, your spine all stay nicely aligned. And once more here. And then stepping in and stepping your right leg forward. So put the back heel down, straightening both legs and squaring the hips. Roll back with the shoulders first, and then take a little hinge forward from the hips, just to find a stretch and a release into our hamstrings. Now chin stays nodded in, but you're still drawing the chin towards the back of the throat, so it helps to keep your ears in line with your shoulders as you tip forwards. Now again, feel the bottom lifting up, so you're creating that length down the back of that right leg. And once more. Stepping back into the centre. Start with your wrap, side step to your left, wrap to the right. But again, really focus on keeping the hips square to the front. So we give our bottom a little squeeze to keep the hips in place, and then we feel more rotation through the upper back. A little brace with your core each time you step in, to keep the hips square, and the shoulders and the arms just nice and relaxed. So they just naturally wrap around your waist. And once more. As we step across, staying across, squaring everything to the front and straightening your legs, and then coming into that tip. So the hand can stay nice and close, just sliding it down towards the knee and lifting your right elbow and your right hip. Or again, you can start to drift the arm out further, and you'll feel as the arm comes further out, we get more stretch into that inner thigh. Breathing out with your tip. A little breath in to rise. Out through the mouth, in through your nose. A little connection through your core. So again, as you tip to the side, we've got that nice length all the way through the spine. Your last one here. And step in. So feet on the hips. Left leg now strides forward. And we put the right heel down. We square up the hips and we roll back with the shoulders. When you're ready, hinging from your hips. Lifting your left buttock up to the ceiling. Try not to let the knees bend as you hinge forwards. And again, pull the shoulder blades together so you're keeping your collarbones open as you tip forward and the chin drawn into the throat. So the more we keep that neutral position through the upper back, the more stretch we find into our hamstring. And we're also again keeping our neutral spine so it's working our core at the same time. And once more. And then stepping your feet back in under your hips. Take your right leg forward. Keep the hands behind the back. So your shoulders are set, and just extend your right leg forward, but keep the weight in your left heel. We're going to come into that little hinge. Keep the hinge forward. Then you're going to sit back into your hips and then push out your left heel. So just ease into a single leg squat. Now with hands behind the back, it helps to keep our spine neutral. And then we make sure that as we're going back into the squat, we're not letting our left knee drop forward. Feel that you're pulling your bottom back and then pushing your hips forwards. And if you're happy you're keeping your shoulders back, you can always bring the hands down and add the arm float as you lower. Squeezing the bottom to rise. And again, trying to keep the back in neutral position. So all the work stays into the bottom. Squeezing the bottom on the way up. And again, that extra little squeeze to get the hips right back underneath the shoulders as you rise. 2 more. And hold. Put your front heel down. Take your left leg back. So once you've got your left leg back, open the knees and tuck your bottom and roll back with the shoulders. We're going to come down into a lunge, circle the arms as you rise. Aware that as you bend into your back knee, you're keeping your tailbone gently tucked. So again, we're searching for the stretch down the front of your left hip. Aim to get your shoulders stacked above the hips. Breathe out as you rise. And again, get that feeling that you're squeezing your armpits closed and really pressing your hands into your thighs. Feel like that brings more connection around your shoulders and your upper back. And hold. Step your feet together. So your left leg now comes forward. Feet hip distance. Left leg forward, but the weight's still in the right and the hips nice and square. Start with the hands here again, so it sets that posture. Hinge forward slightly. Bend your right knee, sit back, and then push out the right heel. So it's just the hips moving. Back and forwards. Focus on squeezing the bottom as you rise, but very focused on keeping that neutral spine as you go back into your hips. So the chin still drawn to the throat. Nice squeeze between the shoulder blades. Feel the bottom squeeze to push the hips forward. And as you keep your left leg straight and pull your hips back, you might still be getting a stretch down the back of that left thigh. Your last one. Bottom wand up. Front heel down. Take your right leg back. Knee over heel and then tuck the bottom. Shoulders are above the hips. We sink and we rise. We breathe into our nose and then out through the mouth. So soft breath in. Tailbone stays tucked, so aiming to find that stretch again down the front of the thigh each time. Feel the crown of the head pulling up to the ceiling as you rise. Feel the back knee pulling down to the floor as you sink. And also try and check that front knee stays still, directly over your heel. 2 more here. I think we're warm. I think we're ready. Step in and grab 2 weights. So let's go weight in each hand this morning. So we're going to come to some bicep curls first with some foot pedals. So we've got the calves warmed up, the hips are warmed. So we need to open the knees, set your shoulders. Right arm, left heel. Tuck the bottom and hold the shoulder blades down. And just pedal from one foot to the other. Now when you lower the weight, don't let it swing past your hip. Want to stop directly by the hip. Now as you lift the arm, don't let the elbow come forwards. That wants to stay tucked in by the ribs. So as you're moving the arms, the upper arm stays still and you're pulling your weight right towards the front of the shoulder. You can try not to put the heels down, so keep a little hover with the heels. Breathing in through the nose. Breathing out through the mouth, still keeping a gentle squeeze between your shoulder blades, and a couple more on each side. And then holding and placing both heels, both arms down. Turn your palms forward to the back of the shoulders. We need to squeeze the shoulder blades together, the hips push back, arms lift, and then come forwards. So making sure the knees don't go forward, the hips stay back, and you're keeping your weight almost level with the hips. Now that squeeze between the shoulder. See if you can push the arms a little higher as you hinge forward. But try not to drop through the ribs. So keeping the front of the ribs slightly lifted. Soft elbows, nice strong squeeze into that mid-back. So really good for our posture. Really good for working our glutes as we push through the heels and drive the hips in. For 3, 2, and then your last one. And hold. Bring the weights in front. Roll the shoulders back. Upright row. Both elbows come in wide. Now letting the weights come just towards the outside of your bottom rib. So they're not too high and the elbows aren't pointing up to the ceiling. The elbows are pushing out towards the side of the room. Little tuck at the bottom. Keep the weights nice and close to your body. Breathe out with each lift. Again, out breath on the way up. And twice more here. Then we're going to finish the shoulders. From here, bring your elbows to 90 degrees. So the elbows are forward and an alternating single arm press. Now again, if you want to lift the opposite heel, lift the opposite heel. If you want to alternate, like you did with the bicep curls, feel free to alternate. Your elbow comes just below shoulder level. So the weight's almost level with your chin. You've got to tuck under at the bottom, and the weight again stays in front of the head so you're not pressing it back over the head. Almost that slight diagonal position. 4, 3, 2 more, and then your last one on each side, and hold. Weights come down, shoulders are done. So bring the elbows in, take your right leg back, front knee over your heel. The elbows squeeze into the ribs, and we're going to go with a tricep kick back. We're going to step in as the weights come in, and then extend the leg as you extend your arms. And notice you're not moving backwards and forwards. So to keep the weight in that front heel, you've got to sit your hips just slightly back behind the heels. Try to keep both knees bent as you step forwards. And then bring that squeeze into your shoulder blades. So it really opens up the collarbones. 3 to go. 2. And your last one. Hold the leg out. Bring the weights down. Just your left arm. Single arm fly. Just back towards the outside of the knee. Option to bring your right leg out to the side, back to the centre. It doesn't have to come all the way to the side. So from here you might find just a little side movement and back, or you might be able to bring it all the way forward in line with your hip. But again, think about your pelvis, drawing the belly in, pushing your bottom back so you've got a nice deep bend in your front knee. 4, 3 to go. 3, chin in, shoulders open. 2, and then your last one, and step in. Reset and change legs, so your left leg back. So when you hinge forward, push the bottom back here, chin is in, so your eye gaze just in front of your toes, elbows come up, and then back to your triceps, both arms extending. Now don't worry about pushing the weights high. All we're trying to do is straighten the arms. That's where your triceps work. If you try and push high, your shoulders are going to drop forward and your back's going to move. So once you've got this position here, just straightening, resetting. When you reset, you can bring in the knee to a light tap. Trying to get the weight down through your right heel. Breathing out, little brace through the core as you extend the arms. Try and fully straighten your left leg when it goes back. Straight leg and straight arms. 3 to go. 2, and then your last one with balance hold. Leg behind, just your right arm lifting, belly drawn in, front knee bent, and if you want to add in that leg movement, it might be a small tap to the side, or you might be able to bring the foot all the way around, level with your hip. So we rely on our core here, drawing the tummy in, make sure the hips are back behind the heel, breathing out each time when you open, breath into centre. Now watch this knee doesn't collapse in, keep drawing the knee out from your hip, and that's what's going to give us stability around our pelvis, heat around the bottom, 2 more, and your last one. And then tap in and reset. Right, reset your shoulders. Let's come to our lunges. Feet hip distance, stride back, bend your back knee, take a side bend to your left, into the centre and rise. Then your left leg, tip into the right, into the centre and rise. Now you tip, open the knees, so it makes your pelvis stay still as we move through the spine. Shoulders directly above the hips when you stride back, so you're keeping your ear in line with your shoulder as you come in to your side bend. Tucking the tailbone. Try not to look down. Fix your eye gaze forward and keep it fixed forward as you move. When you add that tilt, tuck the bottom, press down to the front knee, the heel even. Keeping the knees open from the hips, and you'll feel how that helps to stabilise your pelvis more as you tilt. Balancing. Each time when you step back, make sure the feet are hip distance. If you go narrow and you tilt, it really is difficult to keep the hips still. So by keeping those feet hip distance apart, makes our base a little bigger. Once more here. Nice deep bend, gentle tilt, and then back into centre. Right, ladies and gents, from there bring your weights forward and roll your shoulders back. I'm going to come out to the side for a side lunge. Hips sit back and come back to your double upright row. Breathing in, first option, adding in your knee lift, finding your balance. Don't rush, hold for a second, then stride across. As the weights come down, keep your chest open and lifted. 4 more here. Brace, resist. 3, 2 to go. And your last one, and hold. Bring the weights down. From here, we're going to come into our hinge. So knees at 90 degrees, bicep curl, back to your thighs. Bicep curl, back to your thighs. If you prefer, just a little tap behind, or again, you get your whole body working as one. Keep that length into the spine, that length into your leg. And the elbows again, nice and close to your ribs. For 4, stretch into the toes. 3, raise your core, and your last one, and then hold and reset. Back to the side lunges, so roll the shoulders, palms face your thighs. Stride across, hips back, wide elbows, lifting the knee, or stay with the foot on the ground. When the weights come down, don't let the collarbones close in, so that's going to make your back round. So when you stride across, keep that pinch between your shoulder blades, so you're still here, and then to here. We don't want to bend, and then lift with the back. So as much as we're moving, we try to think about the stillness and length and alignment of our spine. So push the hips back to get low. 2 to go. Your last one. And then holding. Bring the weights in by your thighs. Tap and curl. Or extend fully. Knee lift is your option. Or a toe tap as you come forwards. Again, notice the upper arms. Stay nice and close, tucked into the ribcage the whole time. Standing knee slightly soft so it's not locking out. Bottom and toes back as far as you can. 3, brace, 2, and your last one. And hold. Feet down. And then from here, we're going to come into some more work for our waist. So we're going to come into our windmills. Now, if the shoulders get a little bit fatigued, feel free to put the weight down in the left hand. The hips move to the left. Chest open. You're going to push the arm up, opposite hand towards the knee, and then come back to centre without moving the hips. So breathing in slowly, and then breathing out as you rise. Slow breath in through the nose, and then breathing out, bringing the shoulders back, but not letting those hips move. You can turn your eye gaze up towards your hand. That's going to bring a little bit more stretch into the waist. 3 left here. Slow, controlled. For your 2. And then your last one. Changing sides. So just turn your right foot forward, left foot slightly out, and hips back to the front. Open the chest. Nice long spine, hips over to the right. Breathe in as you ease down, and then breathe out to bring it back. Just level with your shoulder. And try not to let the weight go over the head. Feel you're pushing directly up towards the ceiling. Now watch the hips. Squeeze your thighs, squeeze the bottom. So as you're moving your upper body, there's no movement through the hips. The more you keep the hips still, the more you're going to keep your waist loaded. A little bit more load into the waist by turning your eye gaze up towards your hand. Keeping your left shoulder relaxed as you rise. So you're not lifting the weight with your left arm, it hangs like a dead weight. Your last 2. One more time. And then coming back into centre. Right, so let's do cross-leg lunges next. We've not done these for a little while. So feet hip distance, your right leg behind your left. Stride back, sink into the back knee, bicep curl here, and then as you take the leg out to the side, bring the arms out wide. Back knee bends, breathing in, breathing out slowly. Now bring the weight right to the front of the shoulders. Keep your shoulders down as you extend the arms. And if you want to challenge your balance, you simply lift your legs, so you're not putting your foot back onto the ground. Feel a nice deep bend into that back knee. But again, very aware that your hips and your shoulders are really square to the front here. So shoulders staying directly above the hips. Out breath, in breath, shoulders down, and once more. Giving the tops of the shoulders a little rest. Let's come to deadlift. So weights just in front of your thighs. Shoulders back to keep your posture. Pull the hips back, feel the stretch in the back of the legs. Relax the arms, but keep your shoulders set. And then just push up with the heels. Breathing in and on the rise. Naturally, the weight's going to pull your shoulders forward, which you can see changes the position of the back. So when we lift, we're using our back to lift. So we set the shoulders first. We move back with the hips, pushing them far back as you can, and then driving them forwards. The knees are soft, but they're not bending as you tip forwards. So we're not kind of going down into bent knees. We're thinking more about pushing the hips back and lifting your hips away from your heels. And then when you feel the stretch down the back of your thighs, pause, then push up through the heels. And as you feel the push through the heels, that's what's going to drive the hips forward. And that's why we don't need to use our back when we lift. We use the legs, use our hips, and maintain that neutral spine. One more time. And then back to our cross-leg lunges. So it's your left leg behind your right this time. So reset, left leg moves back. Again, don't let the hips turn to the left-hand side, square them to the front. Bend your back knee and curl the arms. And just below shoulder level to the side. Breathing in, brace your core. Now as you bend the knees, keep the crown of the head pulled up towards the ceiling. So you're still keeping that nice long spine all the way through. If it feels okay, maybe foot not touching down. Constant little squeeze and connection between your shoulder blades. That's going to help you maintain your posture through your upper body. Lots more work then through the legs. Try not to lock out your right knee as you rise, keep it slightly soft. So then we have to again squeeze our glutes and brace our core to balance. Last 2 here. And your 1. and rest. Right, so let's come on down. I think it's time. So come on to our back first. Both weights, working some leg extensions and some single arm flies to challenge our core first. Not that it's not been challenged already. We're just going to challenge it a little bit more. So as you come onto your back, you've got your weights in each hand. Give yourself a little bit of space. Just going to start with the heel slide, nice and simple. Now as we have movement from the limbs, the arm and the leg moves, our biggest focus, our only focus really, is keeping the ribs down and the back in a neutral spine. So once you've got your weights either side of your heart, so your shoulders away from your ears and your weights aren't over your face, ribs draw down, right arm opens, left heel slides. Now don't let the ribs flare or the back lift as you open the arm and extend the leg. And then easing back to centre. Opposite side. Breathe in as you open, breathe out to close. So we're going to move slowly, so our core muscles have to work longer to keep our spine in neutral. Now when you extend the leg away, try and be aware the lower back's not lifting off the ground. So you're still drawing the belly button softly in towards the spine. Chin is in, so lots of length through the neck. And the elbows stay nice and soft. One more on each side, and then we're going to come back to the triceps. We're going to keep the knees at 90 degrees. And then as you bend your right elbow, lift your left knee, place it down onto an eggshell, and then opposite side onto an eggshell. Breathing in as you lower, out with the lift. Now aware that as you change from one foot to the other, you're not letting your pelvis rock from side to side. Shoulders still drawing down to the back of the ribs, so you're keeping the neck as long as you can and not allowing the shoulders to move up towards the ears. Breathing in on the way down. Slow breath on the extension. One more on each side after this one. So your last two. Remember, feet nice and light as they come down, so using your core to stabilise rather than pushing through the feet. Right, anytime you come back to those leg movements, or this time with me, knees above hips. Both arms, single legs. Breathing in to extend, breathing out to close. In through the nose, out through the mouth. So again, as you extend the leg, push into the toes. Try and fully straighten the leg. But if you feel your back's lifting, just let the leg come higher. So remember, our focus is that lower back, staying in soft contact with the ground. Just so aware, we're not changing the position of the spine as we move the arms and the legs. Now the arms still in line with your mid-chest. Palms face up to the ceiling as you open the arms, and you've still got that soft bend into your elbows. One more on each leg. Pressing down gently with the back of the ribs. Holding here. Back to your triceps. Both arms, single leg, toe tap. So again, we're still going to keep that lower back towards the ground. As your knees come back in, knees above hips. If you find it difficult with the toe taps and your legs need a rest, you can come back to your knee lifts. Breathing in as you lower. Don't lower the foot too low. Again, more aim to keep the back down towards the ground. Both shoulders pressed into the floor. Ribs gently drawing down towards the front of the hips. Moving from the hip as that leg reaches forward, not just dropping the foot. 2 to go. The last one. And you can hold. Bring the legs down and the weights. Put your weights down for a second and just bring the arms over the head and just do a couple of circles here around your shoulders. Palms stay up, Open the chest, open the shoulders. Breathing in as you open. Breathing out as you pull your hands towards your thighs. Right, just with one weight. Bring your weight to your chest. So again, almost resting on your breastbone. So the elbows are then going to pull in towards the ribs with the chin in. When you're ready, we're going to come to a crunch, reaching to the outside of the right hip, and then coming back to centre. So the arms extend. When you hold your weight in the middle, you're holding your weight kind of east-west. When you push your hands across, you're going north-south. So as you go to your left, your right hand is on top, your left hand is underneath. So you're feeling then you have to rotate a little more through the shoulders to turn that weight on its side. Breathing in as you lower, breathing out to rise. You can add in your knee lift. Again, knee just stopping above the hip, down to an eggshell. Above the hip and down to an eggshell. And at any time if you feel it's too much with the neck for the crunch, just rest the head and still bring the weights towards the outside of the thigh. And that's still going to challenge your obliques. If you're coming into the crunch as well, making sure the chin is nodded in. And the feet go down very, very lightly. That's the key. Keeping your lower abdominals working, not pressing through the feet. One more on each side. Breathing out into the twist. Little breath in. And breathing out to your twist. And release. Again, just pop the weight down. We're going to roll onto our side when you're ready. So bringing both knees to the front. Little clam up position. And the weight, one weight if you want to, you can just secure it on your thigh. So we're just going to do a leg lift and a leg extension from here. So we're not going to be rotating the knee back. We're going to focus on keeping the pelvis still and stacked. So if you roll your shoulder back, rest the head. I like to watch you all suffer. Lift the whole leg, extend it out straight, lower it to the floor, bring it back and lower. So we lift, extend, lower, lift, bring it forward and down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't forget to close. I thought 5 was another one to finish on. Lifting the whole leg. And again, if you feel at any point it's too much of the weight on the leg, just pop the weight down. Get to the point where just moving your own leg will be hard enough. Nice strong straight leg, so you're going to squeeze the thighs to extend. When you bring your knee forward, directly aligned with your bottom knee. Now the next time you extend your leg, we're going to stay with just the leg lowering. So full leg extension, hold it, and then lower down. For 8, lift, 7. A little squeeze again through the front of the thighs as you're moving your leg. You're squeezing the front of the thigh and lifting from the hip. 2 more. Now for 8, just bring the knee forward and take it back to here and out straight. To here and out straight. Little brace to the core. Little tuck at the bottom. You're halfway. 4, 3. Keep the knee level with the hip. For 2. And your last one. Hold. Just lower and lift for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then release. And it should need a rip. Something wrong if it doesn't. Take both legs out straight. Resting the head, lifting the arm, and set your shoulder back. So we're just going to come into a double leg lift and reach the arm over the head. Just to bring a little stretch through the waist. And a little bit of work for your inner thigh. So you're almost using your bottom leg to push your top leg up. Don't allow the feet to separate. Keep squeezing gently through the front of the thighs so both legs are straight. Lengthening all the way to the fingertips on the floor. So your top hand's almost reaching towards that bottom hand. Squeezing the bottom to help stabilise the hips as you move the arm and leg. 3 left, out breath on the reach, in breath to lower, 2, and then your last one. And rest. Let's change sides when you're ready. If you take the legs to the opposite side if you can. And we start in our clam position first. We'll do that little sequence, then we'll break it down to a set of each movement. So when you're ready, knees are forwards and stacked. So you can always get your hand on your top hip and slightly push it forward so it aligns the knees and the hips, with or without a weight. You can do the first set of the weight and lose the weight if you want halfway through. Head rested, shoulders set. So no tension in your neck and your shoulder. Let that shoulder blade sit right into the back of the ribs. When you're ready, we lift the whole leg. Keep it level with the knee. Then take your leg out straight. Lower the foot to the floor. Lift. Bring your knee forward and lower. So we lift. We straighten. Get the edge of the foot all the way towards the ground. Bring the knee forward and lower. And if you can't get your foot to the floor because your underneath foot's in the way, just bring that bottom foot a little further forward. Because by getting the foot all the way to the floor, we get a little bit more work, bigger range of movement through the hips. So we should almost stretch the hip here as the leg lowers. So more of the muscle fibres get involved and create a little bit more heat around the hip. No rush. Keep breathing out with the lift. Breath in, out with the lift. Breath in, again, out to lift. Just hover. Try to notice that as you're moving your top leg, the pelvis itself is staying still. All the way to the floor if you can. Once more. And then we're going to come into a set of each singles this time. So once your leg's lifted, it straightens and it lowers. For 8, and lift. 7, lift. Breathe in, out. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Nice and controlled, so the weight's not pushing the leg down. You're kind of resisting the weight of the leg as it lowers. Now bring the knee forward, just level with that bottom knee, and then back out straight. And your challenge is to keep the knee level with the hip, so it's constantly keeping that abductor switched on. And again, this is what gives us more stability between the knee and the hip. I know it hurts, but it hurts for a good reason. It's doing us good. Last 2. Breath in, out, in, hold. Lower the knee and lift. Not too high, not so your hips are rolling back. Just so you feel it in the outer thigh here. Again, you can put the weight down if you need to. 4, 3, 2, and your last one, and lower. Then you can get rid of that weight if you haven't already. Bring the legs out straight when you're ready. Make sure the head is rested and your shoulders back. So you can keep the hand down if you prefer, or arm above your shoulder, pulling the shoulder away from the ear. And we'll come into that double leg lift, just to bring it back into the inner thigh. The outer thigh's still got some work to do though. And so at the front of your thighs, give them a little squeeze so your legs stay perfectly straight as you lift them. So much harder to balance on this side. Breathe in through the nose. Start to breathe out to engage your core as you reach. Then a slow breath into the centre. And again, start to breathe out as you lift and reach. And then a slow breath in. 2 more. And your last one. And hold. Go onto your back. Let's release the hips. So coming onto your back, feet hip distance apart. And then from here, just lift your knees up above your hips. And just circle them around. Draw them in towards your chest. And then circle the opposite way around, pushing them away first. And then pulling them back in towards your chest. One of my favourite stretches for the hips. Place your left foot down, right leg over left. Push your left hip into the floor and gently encourage your right knee away. You'll feel the pelvis almost wants to tilt to the right. So press down with your left hip, push the right knee away. If you want more, take a hold of the back of the thigh, gently easing the knee in, and at the same time pressing your tailbone, your bottom to the floor. Try to be aware the shoulders aren't peeling off the ground. Press down with the shoulders, away with your right knee, down with your bottom, and you're all good. Right, release, bring the foot down, separate the feet, and then your left is placed over your right. Left knee presses away, and your right hip presses down. Shoulders are set, stay here, or take the hand behind your right thigh, just lacing your fingers together, pressing down with the bottom, trying to encourage your left knee away. And again, as that stretch starts to ease, you can think about pushing the bottom a little further down to the floor to deepen the stretch. And then when you're ready, you can bring your feet down. Let your feet come together and then let your knees drop out wide. So you're trying to turn the soles of your feet towards each other and let the knees drop towards the floor. Draw the front of the ribs down and let the knees feel heavy. If you need to encourage that stretch, you can put your hands on your thighs, just pushing your knees gently down towards the floor, just so you feel that stretch. That's all it needs. The rest of you gets to relax. Right, from here, when you're ready, pull the knees in, tuck in your chin and take a roll on up. As you roll on up, roll on over, so you're bringing your hands just underneath the shoulders and the knees nicely beneath the hips. We're going to come into our down dog position for a stretch of our shoulders and our hamstrings. So don't have the knees too far back, we want to be under the hips here and tuck your toes. So you push out the hands onto the balls of the feet and then lift the hips up as high as you can. Now press your hands into the floor and pull your shoulder blades down to the back of the ribs. So again, it's like you're pushing the head forward to the hands and making the neck a little bit longer. Then you're gently trying to encourage the heels back to the ground. That brings it into your calves. And if you ever so slightly try and lift your tailbone, you'll feel that stretch deepens, maybe across the back of the knees, maybe into the hamstrings. Breathe. Breathe out, try and encourage the heels a little further back if it's there. And then when you're ready, you can bend your knees. Step 1 foot forward. So if you bend the knees first and kind of take a nice long stride forward, and then bring the opposite foot in when you're ready. Hanging the head right into your neck, your shoulders, your spine. Lifting it with the belly, bringing the chin slightly in. Walking the hands up the shins or just allowing the arms to hang as you restack through your spine. And as you come up through the spine, put my head back on, roll the shoulders back, tuck the bottom, open the knees so the hips are still, and then wrap from side to side. Just letting the shoulders relax, letting the arms just naturally wrap around the waist. Or you can do it with your ears, straight your legs. In your version, looking around the room, and once more each side. And then in centre, pull up your shoulders and drop them down. And again, nice big pull up and a drop. And well done, ladies and gents. Happy weekend. Have a lovely weekend. And I shall look forward to doing it all again on Monday.